Right?
Smell like birthday cake, right?
It's a level one up here. Yeah. It's us. It's us. Kid put me on something.
It's that birthday cake. I go crazy when I go in that Macy's, boy. Stop.
Yeah, that
Haven't. It must cost a lot.
Let me tell you, a bottle of Baccarat.
How much is it?
All
100?
right, check it out.
200?
All right, I'm gonna give you a bottle of Baccarat, right?
Okay,
I got one bottle.
got it.
And nobody better than use my bottle because everybody be trying to use it.
You will know if they use it.
Oh yeah, I measure everything. I sit up there coming in. I come in and be like I got some Bond 9, right? I love Bond 9, but it's unisex.
Okay.
So I walked into the bathroom and I'm up here like, hey, who touched my Bond 9?
Oh my
And
God.
my wife was like, nobody touch it. And I said, hold up, nah, it's the level is low. She said, was alcohol in the evaporator? I said, nah, alcohol evaporation. Nah, she's smart. She's smart like that because that means the oxygen have to hit the bottle as it was actually opened up. The bottle's not open.
Yeah.
So no, that didn't work. And
She's smart.
she's smarter than me. So she was like, I said, you've been using my stuff. She said, well, I'm out of my stuff. I said, I got you. But that Baccarat,
How much is
up
it?
there fight.
How much it costs?
A knockoff one costs this.
I just wanna rock. Ooh, I already know it costs so much. See, that's why I don't know about it.
But you ever seen something in
A real bottle costs this.
in the Starbucks?
I already know. That's why I asked y'all. Like, it gotta cost a lot. I already know it, dude.
I love fragrances.
Me too.
Yeah, I got fragrances.
Candles, everything.
You got some like that's shaped like a star.
Yeah, that's his Bond 9.
Okay, yeah.
It's Hampton. That's Bond 9 to Hampton because they have different ones. But I love fragrances because the fragrance will actually, you go in there with the right fragrance, people be like, yeah.
Yeah, they respect you a little bit.
I may not be rich.
Smell like
I'm gonna smell like I'm rich. They be like, oh, you don't wear all this. Nah, you know, when you got money, you just wear, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so instruments or items are all going to follow on critical, semi-critical, non-critical, right? Critical items must be sterilized. There's no other option. Semi-critical items should be sterilized or you can use a high-level disinfectant.
Okay.
Non-critical items are low-level or intermediate level disinfectant. Now, what's the different levels of disinfectant? It's how strong it is.
Okay.
It's awesome. When you look at a back of a disinfectant bottle, if you see sporicidal, that means that bacteria is strong enough. that disinfectant is strong enough to kill most microorganisms, even microorganisms in the weak spore form.
So like Cavicide White?
That Cavicide White is the sporicidal. If you see, like, say, tuberculocidal, that means that it kills the bacteria that causes tuberculosis. Now, why am I saying that? So when you go order supplies, because some of you guys are going to be the ones responsible. I want everybody to understand this. What's that? Oh, it attacks your lungs. It's a bacterial infection that attacks your lungs, causes inflammation. It can start breaking your lungs down, called respiratory distress. It can cause, it's like it gets inside the alveoli, inside your little pockets in your lungs, and it will start to eat your lungs. It start affecting your lungs. Yeah, they cough all the time. It's the same, similar to bronchitis.
That's crazy.
And it's contagious.
How do you snitch it?
And it's contagious.
Somebody cough, somebody sneeze through ventilation system.
So how do you catch COVID?
COVID,
Oh, baby,
same
we
thing.
just
It's
talked about
airborne. That's why they say social distancing.
So what the testing the skin, what they gotta do with it?
It tells you whether it gives you a false negative reading because if you touch your skin or if you don't, it's going to bubble up. It can give you a false negative. That's not the best way to check for tuberculosis. The best way to check for TB is an X-ray of your lungs. That's the best way to test it for it. But if somebody has tuberculosis inside this building, right, everyone will have to be tested because the ventilation system, unless you have what they call a negative pressure ventilation system, meaning that the air will only circulate in that individual room. So if patients who have active TB have to be treated at hospitals that have that type of room, their room is expensive to have. Now, but guys, 3 items. Now, let me explain to you what is a critical item. If you want to write this down, make a mental note. A critical item is any item that penetrates tissue or bone. So let me ask you this. Would a blade handle of a scalpel be a critical? It would be yes, because why? Because we use the blade to cut tissue. Now the blood is actually on an instrument. That is a critical item. So if you're trying to make a decision, it's safe just to wipe it down with a high level disinfectant or have to be sterilized, you must sterilize it. Does it make sense? Hand pieces are critical items. You shouldn't just be wiping them down using them on anything. It should be, it must be sterilized. A semi-critical or bone is considered to be a critical item, right? Semi-critical means that it came in contact with tissue and bone, but it never penetrated.
So what would bleach fall on the spectrum? Does that have the sponge?
Let me stop popping these gums. Cause I need
Suicidal?
to change.
Bleach is called, what's the correct name for bleach?
Chlorine.
I like, that's a brand name. I like that though.
Shit. Some numbers.
We give you 2 words. See if I can get it.
Um,
Name that. So,
Sodium.
Sodium?
And sodium hydroxide. I don't know.
It's sodium hydro.
These words are so hard.
I can't pronounce it, but you
Let's go
know.
on.
Hard words.
Sodium hypochlorite. And see, with doctors, you use that a lot in endodontics because that's how we sterilize the inside of the, once we remove the pulpal tissue. But what we do is we place inside a little syringe, and the endodontists use that. We use it in certain procedures, but we dilute it with water because sodium hypochlorite by itself is too caustic for the actual tissue. It would damage it. So if they found a way that we can ingest bleach, it will kill a lot of microorganisms. So our bodies cannot withstand it. If
That's
you
what
drink
people
some
was
bleach,
doing.
it will eat your inside of your system.
They were drinking that bleach.
Yeah.
My daddy drunk some bleach to clean his system from
Yeah,
marijuana.
they drank that bleach, man.
So what?
The bleach, let me say this.
What about the
The
bathroom?
bleach that they're using now is not, it can't, seriously, you're not
They drink
supposed to
bleach,
drink
bro.
bleach.
Yeah.
I know somebody had drunk bleach, they gave their sister some bleach, and they drunk the bleach, like, so they thought it was, because they said they got tired of their sister actually drinking all this stuff, so what they did was they put bleach in there, and she went and put it before, and she coughed it back up, it ate half her stomach
Oh
up.
my God. That fast?
Yeah, cause it's acid, right? Like,
It tears your
like the
tissue
acid,
up.
But,
Think about if you pour bleach on your arm.
so what did my daddy do? Because he said he drunk bleach to clean his system.
He must have a strong system.
But you know, like, I grew up in the old school environment, so I know what all the old school remedies, stuff like that. Your roommate never do a kind of bleach in your bathwater?
Nah, you could put bleach in the bath water,
Cause the outside?
but it's not 100% bleach, you dilute it with water.
Water, yeah.
See how it works? If you dilute it with water, then it's safe. Like chlorine is what? It's bleach.
Bleach.
It has to be diluted. 1 part per, it's like 1 part to, like 1 cup, like 1 part to a cup of water. You can't, it's just a little bit. We use bleach. We used to use bleach when I first came in this field to actually wipe our dental chairs down. But they found out, yeah, it was killing all the microorganisms. But what it was doing was it was damaging our fabric of our chair.
Yeah. Cause I said, what is the turn of colors?
It was turning colors.
The patients wasn't cleaning either?
Huh? Oh, let me tell you, quick story.
I love
Y'all see,
bleach.
I know you have a question. All right, so I thought that I was doing something, right? This one using bleach. So I actually wiped the chair down. Maybe I wiped the chair down with bleach. I'm like, okay. Patient came in. I said, what's going on, Miss Wanda?
Oh, you saw that she got up.
She got up. She started, and she was going to interview. And she walked away. She said, you did so good. I said, thank you. And she walked away. And as she was walking out, I started seeing a little white spots show up all in the back of her dress. I did not tell her. She came, the next time I saw her, she said, I said, how did the interview go? And she said, you know what, it went well, but you know the strangest thing happened. She said, my clothes was like, I don't know what happened. It was, I said, I don't know what she said. I was like, for real?
She know what happened because
Yeah.
you got to put like
Nah,
you
man.
smell like this in there.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like, for real?
He gonna see it all the way through.
Because if you don't wipe it down, it will get like, even if you put bleach on, if you ever put bleach on, if you don't wipe it thoroughly down, if you use bleach and you rest your arms on it, it will start to cause some people to actually develop rashes.
Yeah, it will.
I was at work.
It's too costly. It's too costly.
And they use like this little
It dry up.
grease disinfectant and some chlorine stuff, and this is what I have from that. So I'm like, I don't know how to get rid of this, but
Oh,
you know
I'm
what
about to
I'm
give you,
saying?
I'm about to give you another one that y'all probably never think about. I used to wake up every Saturday morning
So,
to the smell of ammonia.
ammonia.
And bleach.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I sat up there, it was to the point where I had a headache. And my mom used to open up the windows for ventilation, right?
Yep.
And my mom was she cleaned all the time, OCD.
Yep.
But the thing about it is this, being that stuff was trapped when we didn't wear masks, right? I could actually have brain issues now.
Yeah.
I can actually, because some stuff is latent. You remember we talked about that? Some
I have
stuff is
brain
chronic.
damage.
So when we think about why we have certain
I have
cancers
brain
and respiratory conditions, it's because stuff that our people like knowledge of that they expose us to. You had a question, I said. You forgot? Okay.
So with chlorine in a pool, we swallow the water because we don't went under the water.
Because it's diluted with water.
Not that much though, because we still smell it like.
Nah, but it's still diluted. But if you put too much chlorine in your water, you get out, it's gonna start to itch.
If you, I might say,
Yeah, we do eat.
I'm not going hungry for them. So I'm eating.
Now I'm gonna say this. Everybody listen to this.
You
heard what she said? You usually cannot smell chlorine. If you go to a pool and smell nothing but chlorine,
Don't get in.
yeah, whoever mess up that whole. But it's the stuff. But
I
going back
love
to this.
bleach. I love it.
So critical items are items that
I love
what
bleach. I love
penetrate
it.
tissue, right? Semi-critical items come in contact with it, right? It should be sterilized or highly disinfected. Now, those little XCP holders that they use for X-rays and put inside the mouth, that would be considered to be a semi-critical item. Now, I'm gonna tell you that semi-critical item can turn critical if you put in there the person has gum disease and is bleeding or there's blood on it. It has to be sterilized.
I'll be sterilized.
Semi-critical can use a low, intermediate level. Semi-critical would be something like this amalgamator. So, but in dentistry, we rule out only disinfectant you should have in dentistry should be a what? High level disinfectant because of what we do.
Right.
Doctors now, because they understand the infection control, doctors now are starting to use disposables. That's why we went to a lot of disposables, use once. And y'all saw that on the PowerPoint slide, use once. A lot of doctors go and use disposables because of the fact they control the what? They spread of infections. But this is something, I don't want you guys, I don't want you guys to get fired at all. But please do not let me find out that one of you guys got fired because of the fact that you did something that you wasn't supposed to. For the ones that were not here, and we're gonna do more of this, we actually practice doing seeing patients, right? Putting on gloves. When you walk outside that treatment room, you should be taking what? Your gloves off.
Right,
Because
right.
let me catch you walking up front to the front desk. And you see that a lot. And doctors will shake their heads and be like, what are you doing? What school did you go to? Who was your instructor? Yeah, and I'm gonna say you a lie. I don't know her. Nah, but this is things that you guys, what we do in this industry has a lot to do with making the right decisions. I'm just keeping it real with you.
Yeah.
And don't follow the ones that's already there, because I know people that's been in the field that's doing stuff wrong. And maybe that's why you there, because they're trying to replace them. I'm gonna tell you something one of my coworkers did. When we bring a patient back, we take a blood pressure, we hook up monitors, right? And then we start the IV.
Okay.
We have to check the vital signs first to see whether or not it's safe to do the IV, right? Because the person's blood pressure is too high, if the the heart rate is actually going crazy, we have to do that. Stethoscope. You said, so we need someone else, so we can do it tonight. We do it tonight. So
I'm gonna get my
when you do,
stethoscope.
that's our protocol, right? Well, one of the doctors I work with, right? And I know I'm gonna get in trouble tomorrow. I'm gonna address this doctor tomorrow about it. Because I'm gonna say, I think that with you value quantity over quality. You're just trying to get people in and out like a production line. Yeah, come on, let's go. But when you're doing this, you put so much pressure on your assistants that what they're doing is they starting to do stuff out of protocol. This is a big no-no, what this assistant did. I was in Snellville yesterday. This assistant had a person in the consult room and started IV while they was in the consultation room. And then when the certain room was ready, had a patient out in the hospital, you walk around IV. I stopped and said, what are you doing? Yo, this is what we, this is why we do. Nah, he's been in the field for what? He's been in surgery for 12 years. What he was trying to do is he wanted to impress the doctor so much by getting in and out. I said, well, what you're doing is you're breaking every rule.
You have some mouthwash cups in there? I really don't feel like walking to my classroom.
That's a new teeth. That's a new teeth we got.
See, I'm gonna have to walk to.
I don't know if they I don't know if they clean or not. Yeah. Go, now look here, come here, right? So preventive dentistry.
We got a new teacher. And you know what? Hurricane?
I wish. I can't afford them right now.
That's gonna be my first shoe when I get my
When I get my dental assistant, definitely. Someone with
Alexander McQueen.
I'm waiting on the phone call.
Yeah, we said, we try to move cool, man.
I know it's cool.
We good, right?
I want
I
them
don't
Alexander
know, we still
McQueen.
good, right? I'm gonna tell you why
We still good.
we still good. When you get that job that allow you to do that, then let me know, okay? I got you. But
I love Alexander McQueen.
she's gonna get picked up quick.
Yeah, you got about that.
She has, I'm gonna lie, all of them. She has a beautiful smile. She has a beautiful spirit. That she's gonna get picked up quick. If y'all notice that I'm bigger, I'm more big on personality than
Right.
anything, because that's what gets you hired.
Right.
Now, what keep you there is the skill set and your knowledge. But guys, for the semi-critical, non-critical, it gives you the information to see whether or not if you need to use a different disinfectant. You should only use high-level disinfectant. But going back to that gentleman, he did that, set the patient, and I am about to tell on all of them tomorrow. Yes, I am about to be a snitch. Yes. Well, but see, that's a good point. We don't, the needle's not still in the patient. When we start IV, the needle gives us an access to the actual vein, but then when we pull that needle out, and the only thing in it is a catheter.
Yeah.
And the catheter was been with the actual movement. So that's why they're able to walk around and stuff like that. But if he should have never started, he broke every protocol, but I blame the leadership because the leader of that office, if you're not saying anything now, it means that it's other stuff that he's not doing. He's a liability. And that means if you're not doing that, you're not cleaning doctor.
But you said that's how they do it, so maybe the doctor does not.
Now the doctor knows, but this is, I'm gonna tell you, don't ever get caught this when you be like this. The doctor saw me doing it because that same doctor be like, I didn't know they was doing that. Once that doctor get in trouble, I've seen doctors deniability. It was okay when it was benefiting them, but they were in total deniability because they kind of looked the other way.
Right.
When you were trying to impress the doctor, did he was that impressing you to that doctor, or
The doctor,
was the doctor like, nah?
you don't realize the doctor using them. Because the doctor, oh yeah, Sean, right? You don't realize, but Sean does things, he's a loose cannon. I do not want to work with him because and I want everybody to understand my psyche behind this. If you're doing stuff like that, then I know you may not be cleaning the rooms and stuff like that.
Right.
So if I'm coming behind you to use an X-ray machine,
You got to double.
I'm gonna have to wipe it down, even if he said he wiped it down, because I don't trust him. Because you can't see the microorganisms. You remember I said that?
So
You
that
just
doctor
trusting that
trusting
your-
him?
Huh?
That doctor is trusting in him?
Long as he keep that money coming in. But I also know several other doctors that would have rolled him up and fired him that same day.
So, okay, so is he under that one doctor or is it like multiple doctors? in
He
the
works with
office?
several doctors, and everybody's complaining about him right now. Right? But I'm like this, because I'm a firm believer. I don't like to see anybody lose their job, but I will be quick to fire you.
I'm just worried, like, what if we get in that predicament and like, a doctor is letting us slide on that, and we don't know that it's wrong, but he's not correcting us, so.
I'm gonna say this, some doctors are gonna ask you guys to do things that you know that you're not supposed to do.
To see if
So
you'll
it's
do it.
gonna be your decision whether or not you do it. And if you do it, you remember we talked about laws and ethics? If you do it, you cannot go to court and plead ignorance when you knew what was right.
Right.
Some doctors are not going to follow standards. They're gonna cut corners. They're gonna tell you use stuff that I haven't seen a doctor tell people use disposable items again or use those same gloves, just wash them. If you get to an office like that, that's when you say,
Mm-mm.
you may say, well, maybe they had changed. No. If that doctor is the doctor in the office, you need to call
They're
up
not
to
gonna
UBI and say, hey, I have this concern. I won't even get mad at the doctor. I'll just call
They're not
UBI
gonna
and say,
change.
Ms. Bossett, I have a problem. I'm at an office. They're doing all these violations, and you tell them. And see, Ms. Bossett don't know. If she don't take it, call me because I will remove you from that site.
So that's how I work our extract, if they're doing everything violating.
Yeah, but don't go in there like an OSHA inspector
Yeah.
because everybody's not gonna be 100% in compliance.
What
You
is
have to
wrong with
see
you?
what they're breaking. You see what I'm saying? Like say for example, you feel as though the barriers should go here, but they be like, nah, just put it on the light handles and the headrest. I'm not gonna call OSHA for something like that.
That's just how they run their office.
That's how they run the office. I just know that I need to wipe everything down thoroughly. But if they're doing something like using cotton rolls, like say they have cotton rolls on a tray that you didn't use, and then you take it and they use for the next patient, then,
Cross contamination.
well, yeah, it's cross because you had it out, aerospray, there's stuff, bacteria's on it. Like, I'm gonna tell you what I do, if I don't eat something at a restaurant or whatever, I would take those chips and crumble them up and everything. I'm at a Mexican restaurant, I crumble them up and out, because it was a Mexican restaurant that was actually on Covenant Highway, right there next to the Beatles. You know that one?
Yeah.
Los Colinas, whatever that was. They were actually taking chips, and it was recycling the chips that people didn't eat.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
That's what they say about Olive Garden.
Don't do Olive Garden.
But you have to be aware. If you don't know, you don't know.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Don't do Olive Garden.
So-
What they do? You lying. Oh, she
So
lying.
eat the bread.
The ones that you don't either just pull off the back and
Oh, and that
So if I have food left over, I take that food and I will actually play with it, and I do that for a reason because I know what some people have the ability of doing. Like that burger they dropped on the floor, they be like, oh man, I got this, I'm gonna throw it away. They step around the corner. That's why I like going to restaurants personally. I love restaurants where you can actually see
Yeah, like hibachi.
what they're doing, yes. Because we
Hibachi,
got some nasty, dirty people out there. You get out in the sun.
Subway.
They about to.
Yeah, I see it all in.
I don't trust it.
You can see the food.
I don't trust Subway though because.
Yeah, the fire hydrant's open.
What's that?
They don't restock everything in front of you. They
But-
pull it from the bag and then bring it up from like, nah.
Okay. All right.
But learn these things with the different instrument, the different, go through that PowerPoint in detail because that's your infection control. We're gonna do more role playing. We're gonna do a lot of role playing. How many people, the ones who were here for the role playing, how did you guys feel? Did that help you? Did that not help you?
You
What?
know, I like it.
What was the pros and cons to it? What did you like and what you disliked?
Well, what I liked about it is that it giving us the experience. So I do like that, and I want to do it more. The only thing that I want to work on more, just me personally, is because when I get in front of other people like y'all, I'm not nervous. But when I go to that internship, I'm gonna be nervous bringing them patients in, but I need to break that before I do. So I want to keep practicing that whenever we have time.
Because I don't want any of you guys to, these are basic, simple things that you guys should be comfortable with. I've seen doctors that would tell the assistants, the new assistants, you know what, just go back and fold towels. Because they don't want them interacting with the patient because they see that they're struggling with interacting with the patients. So what we did for the two of you guys in Asia, it wasn't here for it. What we did was we actually had a health history that I had, a couple of students fill out. I had them sit, as a patient sitting there, I had an evaluator, a person that would evaluate them, and then the person that's the assistant. So what the assistant did was they had to come over, wash their hands, dry their hands, put their gloves on. Once they put their gloves on, they went in, they actually wiped down the rooms, and after they wiped down the rooms, they took their gloves off, they washed their hands, because you wash your hands before and after you take your gloves off. After they did that, they put barriers up with new gloves. Right? Now, if I didn't say that, some of you guys would have picked up on it, but it's so common for people. One young lady, I let her go through it, and what she did was she went in, she wiped the room down, but when she went to set up with barriers, she kept those same gloves on. You're wiping the room down to clean and disinfect it. So if you're using that same set of gloves to do that and put barriers on, the barriers are contaminated. The room is still contaminated. Does that make sense? So in dentistry, we do take and put gloves on and take our gloves off constantly. Anytime you put gloves on, you wash your hands before and you wash your hands after. One of the things that One of the things that I actually had to think about, when you put gloves on, guys, these exam gloves, say you have gloves on. When you go take your gloves off, right? You don't want to touch your skin.
Right.
So you take your gloves off, you grab your gloves here while touching skin, take it off, roll this glove here, and then come up here, then drop in the trash.
That look good.
Now
Now I like it.
Because you have to be conscious about it. Because like today, I worked on 3 patients that was HIV positive.
Ooh,
I had a patient that had hepatitis B.
good God.
I had, so these are patients that you see on a daily basis. And I'm in a vulnerable position because guess what I'm doing? I'm doing surgery. So you do surgery. It be times, guys, when we're doing this, there's patients in the chair, and we be like, the room look clean. But then sometimes what I do after I wipe the chair down, I sit in that chair and I look and see what the patient see. Because see, a lot of times we don't look here. It's blood here, it's spatter here. You never wipe that down. The last thing you want is for a patient to see that and you'd be like, because they see that the whole room is dirty. Or the patient see blood on the ceiling.
I ain't supposed to be that.
You better find some way to get up there.
All the chairs wrong.
You gotta get a ladder, you gotta come, because it has to come down. I have patients that will do this.
So call it
That bent, as an assistant, I have to do this. When I walk around, our light fixtures are the older lights that have a covering over it. If I see bugs in there, what I do is, matter of fact, tomorrow morning, I have to do that before we start. I go in there, get a ladder, get up there, take it, because if the patient see bugs, they think everything is dirty. So your job is so, God, I'm telling you right now, you guys gonna have a responsibility that I don't know what type of jobs you had before. Dentistry is a lot of stuff that you do. You're conscious, you're responsible for everything. And some of you guys are gonna be working in an office where you're the only assistant. You work with a doctor, 2 hygienists, right? And you're responsible for making sure everything runs smoothly and efficiently. And then also, not just dental assistant, you are the supply tech, you are the maintenance person. You're gonna be wearing so many different hats. That's a great question. Do assistants, Bob? Let me tell you what. Let me tell you how I feel. With me, right? Because we got several offices, right? I gotta sit up there and mop my room and sweep my room every day.
I'm so
But Buckhead, they got a cleaning service.
Well, I believe.
So I'm like, why did Buckhead get a cleaning service? Why should they be cleaning in the Decatur office?
The Dennis on Trust on that side.
I have a problem with disparities. It's a disparity. They want to make sure those Buckhead patients are happy.
Happy.
That's
I was
what
about
that's
to
what
say,
boils
the
down.
location.
That's what boils
You're
down
gonna
to.
get more patients.
Buckhead.
But this patient on Medicaid should get the same attention as that patient.
Y'all got about 10 more
that's on
minutes.
our
I'm about
block.
to cut this shit
Different
out.
classes though.
Yep, different classes. That's a good, like, so Dr. Dowdy and where my wife works at, they have a cleaning service that will come in and they take out like the basic trash, right? They go in there, they clean like basic common areas. But my wife is still responsible for making sure she clean the treatment area because at the end of the day, we don't know what they're doing when they come in. That's the reason why we came in the other day. It was barriers up. How many people were like, look here, it's barriers here, right? I'm touching this, I'm doing this, right? I'm contaminated because I don't know if this is clean. Cause so you, the night before, you clean everything, right? You put all the barriers up because you're thinking ahead. You're like, oh yeah, I'll make sure when I come in the morning, all they have to do is set my room up and keep going, right? And start. But what if the cleaning people came in behind you and said, ooh, I'm tired. And they sit there, or they eating, or they touch something. That room is dirty. We can't tell it's dirty because we can't see microorganisms.
Right.
So you always, at the end of the day, securing your room, close your room down, wipe the room down, all the barriers up. If I come in the room, if I see barriers up, if I was your lead, I would actually talk to you a couple times. And if you consistently do it, I would write you up.
Right.
I'm the worst person to be a lead with, but I'm the best person because I believe in help develop. I'm like, okay, let me show you. Let me talk to you. If I talk to you, I got a three strike rule. I do it with my kids. The first time I tell you something, and you don't do it,
Nah, you the office police.
yeah, maybe you didn't hear me. That's how I look at it. I said, maybe you didn't hear me. The second time I tell you to do something you didn't do it, I'm like, strike two. Nah, maybe you didn't understand, so let me explain it. The third time I tell you to do it, you don't do it, I'm like, guess what you saying? You saying F me. So I'm about to F you. So that's how I am. I have a three strike rule because people will play you.
Yeah, they will. They really
Kids
will.
will play you.
They
So
take your
they
kindness for
understand more than
weakness.
what you feel as though they understand. So when you sit up, they know how to manipulate you. So assistants know how to manipulate you. So when I'm in there, be like, yo, don't play with me. I tell people all the time, I say, yo, do not
So
play
would
with
y'all have
my
a warning and a verbal warning and a written warning and?
Yeah, it's documentation. Usually documentation is really setting you up to be fired.
Right.
Because if you don't straighten up, it's called a performance improvement plan. Maybe you didn't know. But my thing is, guys, be conscious about your infection control. Clean, clean, clean. When you come in this room, like that whole counter there is filthy.
Hammer your back dirty.
What did somebody do? What did somebody do last week, y'all, Siri, that I said, you need to move that? What did somebody have over there?
Me, I found my water bottle.
Water bottle.
Yep,
Where'd you put your water bottle at?
right here.
What did we put in? What comes on that side?
It's contaminated.
Blood, tissue, all stuff over there if it's a real clinic because that's a dirty, contaminated side. I had to,
What's this side?
well, that's clean, but being that's a laboratory area. That's dirty. I'm looking at, but I had a petty officer card. I had to tell on him and rat on him because what he was doing was, and this is supposed to be my supervisor, he was warming his food up inside the sterilizer.
What? I mean, you gotta eat how you gotta eat.
So if you put your food up inside the sterilizer, think about all the other stuff that you're not doing. Do everybody understand that?
So why is it wrong?
Sterilizing his food.
That part. How is he warming it up?
Because it was heat.
The heat.
The heat.
The sterilizer creates heat.
It creates heat. So if you're doing that, think about all the other stuff that you're not doing.
What?
So if you're not, if you go into the bathroom, not washing your hands, you come out, all the other stuff that you may not be doing. All you got washing your hands.
That's wrong. I was in BJ's yesterday and me and my daughter washed our hands and I noticed the only soap thing that works. I washed a lady's face.
I'm so fucking hungry.
You know the one thing, do you know the one thing?
Y'all got 5
that
minutes.
I want everybody to The one thing that they were challenged with, they struggled with the most when COVID was out, changing people's behavior. Social distancing,
Oh, yeah.
wash your hands,
So that's already
be mindful. They know people like discipline. If people wash their hands, there will be less spread of colds and viruses.
Y'all
But
like
people
what?
don't do it. I've seen people sit up there and dig in the back of their pants, and then go out there and be like, hey, so you want some fries?
Yeah, COVID, see, I had the same side. I'm at Walmart checking out some old man waiting for this. Like, I'm like, bro,
And I'm gonna say this, and if you look dirty, everything that you do is dirty.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you look clean, don't let your guards down because that don't mean they clean. So my whole thing is you gotta change your way of thinking, and that's why Ms. Bennett and I are going to start to evaluate, and we're pulling coattails more than anything. We're being more strict on uniforms. We want, and I'm gonna tell you, yeah, I was gonna say that, but
I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Y'all got
that's
some-
true.
I'm taking
Well,
off
check
from work and I
Give me an
forgot my
example.
shoes.
Give you an example. One of my coworkers named Kristen came into work one day and she was like this. She had a slide. She said, I said, Kristen, you gonna put your sneakers on? She said, no, I put them on when you start, right? So what she did was, I'm not even know. There you go. I know you don't know Kristen.
I know.
That name, it's a pretty name. I
She
know.
don't know her.
Yeah. But Kristen came in.
Yeah,
And Kristen, listen to the story. That's why you can't wear, like, say for example, I'm gonna go around, right? I'm gonna say, OSHA violation, OSHA violation, OSHA violation.
He's coming. Hold on.
Let me say,
He coming. Hold on.
compliance means feel good. In compliance, right? In compliance, but no,
that's
OSHA
not
violation.
us. Yeah.
OSHA violation, I'm gonna tell you why, right? In compliance. Now, let me explain why.
I'm saying, cause
Hold yours up again.
Right.
Hold yours up. It's no holes, right?
I'm in
But at the same
compliance.
time, if you got
But I
blood or
made it.
something on it, it absorbs in the fabric.
Yeah.
See how that works? With the holes inside your
I tried to
crocs,
hide my stuff.
stuff get in it. And let me explain. She had those holes inside her croc. She comes in and she's gonna be like I said, we gotta go. That's why because she had holes. If the crocs did not have holes, she would be okay. Now, check this out. Everybody listen up. So when she sat up there, she was drawing up drugs. She was doing a birth bed, which puts you to sleep, and fentanyl, which is a narcotic that is a
She
pain
had
reliever.
that shit.
So when she was drawing up the drugs, she stepped back and she started saying something, and the needle went all the way down, went through that hole, and stuck in the top of her foot. If she would have had shoes on,
With a bounced off.
no, she got fired. You know why she got fired?
Because he wasn't dressed in
Not
her
because she got
uniform.
stuck.
She could have
Nah.
sued the company.
Not because she got
Because
stuck.
she
Because
wasn't
of the
even.
fact that when you do that incident, they're gonna make you do a drug test, and she popped in the drug test.
But is it because of fentanyl or?
The fentanyl, you can make that mistake. The fact that she got popped in drug test because they're gonna make you take drug test, they're like, you gotta be high if you're coming in out of compliance. Fentanyl is an opioid. It's a narcotic. That's why we have that opioid. Yeah, who's in the on the drugs? She got fired because she wasn't wearing improper shoes, caused her to get stuck, which led to her getting tested, which led to her showing a positive on the test.
I would have fired her.
So you know how the job look at it? You know how the job look at it? If you set up there
I'll see
and
y'all later.
you pop in the drug test, right? Then they're gonna look at it. The reason why the needle went in there is because you was under influence. If you come to, now listen up, if you come to work, and this is another thing that we're not having in this
She
class
shouldn't
no
have
more.
wore back.
I want everybody to listen to this. Everybody listen, another thing we're not having in this class no more. Unless you can show me a bottle of perfume or cologne that's labeled cannabis and that you didn't write yourself, don't come to my class smelling like weed no more. We're trying to grow professional. Smell like weed.
It's 420. I'm smoke.
I'm not serious. It's a lot of people.
It's
If I don't
14.
smell it, you smell throughout the whole building.
Y'all said y'all.
So So check this out, guys. Then you guys
Happy
actually, when you sign up to be a student, you sign up to get instruction.